Righto, tellyo there champs. Now if you weren't excited enough for the XPS 15, XPS 17, we have new Alienwares in the house. We also have some new Dell G laptops, so G5, G3, going to talk about that. And the new Alienware M15, M17, AMD powered, and also the Area 51, AMD Power. And yes, I know you're getting excited, but sadly, it's on the GPU side. They're not giving you the option of the AMD CPU, but we'll get into that in a sec. I'm not going to talk about the XPS 15, XPS 17 in this video, although I know every single thing about it. I got the official spec sheet, so I do have some follow-up videos on that. And if you're interested in these Alienware and Dell G series laptops, make sure you subscribe because I'll have some videos on these as soon as I get my hands on them. And just on the XPS 15, XPS 17, we were learning new things every day with the XPS 17. I mean, I seem to be doing that a lot lately, learning new things. I mean, I didn't know I was gay until I watched Tiger King, and he told me when I watch adult movies that if I like the big one, that means I'm gay. So apparently I'm gay according to Tiger King. I didn't know that. I also didn't know or expect that the XPS 17 has a 130 watt power brick. So it's using the same 130 watt as the XPS 15, and this has an RTX 2060 in it. You also have the option of no graphics, and you have the option of a 1650 Ti. But what this means is a 2060 is probably a max Q. It doesn't say max Q, but it probably is. You can see there 130 watts. That's going to be severely power limited. It has to be. I mean, most RTX 2060 max Q laptops have 180 watt power supplies, so yeah. So anyway, let's get into the G series first. So G3, G5, G3 on the left, G5 on the right. It is a refresh, okay? So we're going to the Intel 10th generation CPUs on both of them. It doesn't say anything about RTX Supers there. Now you can't get the i9 in these anymore. Top of the range is the i7 in both, and that means you're limited to 6 cores. But I mean, for gaming, that's perfectly fine. The G5 has the extra option of the RTX 2070. If you have a look there, you do not have an RTX 2070 with the G3. Now it doesn't say here any supers, so I can't see any supers, no AMDs. There is an all AMD G5 supposedly coming out, so yeah. And then we can see the difference in the panels here. You can see a 220 nit WVA panel. That's going to be lesser quality than the G5, but basically it's just a refresh on both of them. I've got to say, if we look at the prices, I'm talking Australian prices here. Look at the price of the XPS 15, 3,700 Australian. Wow. And the XPS 17, 3,300. That would be the one without the GPU. I mean, have a look at the Alienware. Yeah, 2,800. Now, as far as I know, New Zealanders don't use money, do they? They use sheep. They trade sheep. They love sheep. I'm telling you. But more reasonable prices here at the Dell G series. Yes, that looks a bit better to me than the other prices. Anyway, let's get into the Alienwares. And as you can see here, the Aura, this is the desktop, upgrading to Intel 10th generation parts. We also have an AMD in here somewhere, I think. We have AMD graphics options and also a Radeon 7 16 gig. I thought they stopped making them, and up to an RTX 2080 Super. And the big deal about this is it is water cooled now. So yes, a good refresh there, and AMD options. I'm loving that. Now the new Alienware M15 revision 3 is getting a nice update too. We're getting the 10th generation CPUs up to i9, up to 32 gigs. Now they should have the 32 gig models out there now. And as you can see here in the graphics options, you can get an AMD there. So there you go. And of course up to a RTX 2080 Super. Now you can get a full RTX 2070. It's not same with Max Q design. So yeah, that is good. And we should have some improvements on the cooling because they're saying that. Now this thing is an amazing laptop. The last version that I reviewed, the only downside for me was the battery size, right? It wasn't good enough for my daily driver just because of the battery life, but I could rock this now with the 4K display because you're getting an 86 watt hour battery, and that will be the same battery that's going into the XPS 15. So now with the OLED option, because you do have the OLED option with the display here, this is like daily driver material because it has one of the best keyboards, one of the best trackpads. You know, Alienware are the only one that can rock this sort of like science fiction sort of look. You know, everybody else tries it, but you know, Alienware are the only ones that are good at it. So this looks like a good upgrade. And then with the 17, more of the same, pretty much more of the same. Of course, you don't get the OLED, and obviously it's heavier, whatever, but the battery is 86 watt hours, the same one that's going in the XPS 15 there. They're all sharing that same battery, and you get the AMD graphics options there, and 10th generation CPUs, of course, up to i9. And of course, you're not going to get OLED. because this is a 17-inch. There's only one OLED panel on the market. That's that same Samsung panel, the 15-inch 16:9 that everybody uses. So you're not going to get OLED other than in the 15-inch 16:9 display. So some good upgrades there. Now there is one other update, and we have the Area 51 being updated, and they're putting AMD options here and 10th generation CPUs. So awesome there. Starts at 4,000 Australian, and the thing is 4,000 Australian for all these desktop parts, and you're thinking 3,700 for the XPS 15. Oh, I do hope that's a typo, but yes, AMD RX graphics. So AMD are slowly working their way into it. Unfortunately, I think this year AMD is going to be more on the lower ends, and there'll be a couple of flagships like the G14, but I think we're going to have to wait till next year, and hopefully there'll be more options with AMD CPUs. But as it stands now, Intel is the king of the flagship, and that's just how it is. Business is like that, and you know, AMD just can't come in and just snap their fingers and go, hey, everybody make a machine for me. It's not going to happen like that, as much as we may like it to happen like that. So anyway, catch you in the next one. Stay tuned for more reviews on these. I'm going to do some more videos on the XPS 15, 17 very soon. And thanks for watching, guys. Tally ho.